we talk about fast fashion, we tend to talk about the same brands over and over again. SHEIN, Boohoo, Zara, H&M, all the mall brands. And it's important for us to talk about them because they are problematic and they are a big part of the fast fashion machine. But we also tend to forget about some really big players, like companies that are selling so much clothing every year using the fast fashion model, and they get kind of overlooked, right? And so I'm going to be doing a series over the next week or so where I talk about these different companies that are using the fast fashion model that are huge players in this game that we are often forgetting to talk about. So I was thrifting this weekend. I went to a lot of thrift stores actually because that's my idea of a good time, is just to see what's out there and people watch and walk around and, kind of collect information in a weird, creepy way. And I kept seeing the same labels over and over again. I saw this one an awful lot, and that one is a Walmart brand. Then I saw this one and this one and this one, and they are all Target brands. And I mean, I saw a lot of these. I actually will just say, I saw these brands more than any other brand on the racks, including SHEIN. And I realized that I have been seeing those brands all along. It just wasn't really sinking into me. So today we're going to talk about these two sort of invisible players in the world of fast fashion that are actually huge players in the world of fast fashion, and that's Walmart and Target. Okay, so Target's 2022 sales were about $109 billion. Clothing and accessories were 16.4% of that, according to their reports. And don't worry, I already did all that math for you. Of course, I've got the calculator right here. That was $18 billion in clothing and accessories in 1 year alone. $18 billion. Now, if we pretend that the average retail price of the things that Target is selling in clothing and accessories is $20, which I'm going to say might be on the high side, that means that in 2022, Target sold about 900 million items. And once again, that $20 might be high. So if we lowered it, the number of items increases. But 900 million, disturbing enough for me, right? Okay, well, let's talk about Walmart. So remember, Target did about $18 billion in sales in clothing and accessories. What did Walmart do? $26 billion in sales of clothing and accessories. $26 billion. Way more than Target, right? If we do the same thing where we say, okay, well, the average price of the things that Walmart was selling in terms of clothing and accessories was $20. That gets us to 1.3 billion units, like individual pieces of clothing and accessories sold in 2022. These are really big numbers, but what do they mean, right? So let's take someone we talk about a lot, someone we know is huge, someone we know who sells an awful lot of clothing every day, SHEIN. SHEIN sold just shy of $23 billion worth of clothing and accessories to Americans last year in 2022. As a refresher, Walmart sold about $26 billion. So Walmart is beating SHEIN on its own, right? And when we combine Walmart sales with Target sales, it's actually double of SHEIN sales. So these are some really big players that we forget to talk about kind of all the time. And it's interesting because as I started thinking about that this week, I was doing some reading, and it's no coincidence that Walmart and Target are selling so much clothing, because that's been a concerted effort. Like, they have wanted to build those businesses, and they have, by doing collaborations, by creating their own in-house brands, by extending sizes, and re-merchandising the way clothes are presented to us in the stores, with both of them really leaning into trends and constant newness. So adopting the fast fashion model, right? That's how they're able to make SHEIN look like amateur hour. So now that I know this, it's no surprise that I'm seeing so much Target and so much Walmart clothing at every thrift store I go to. And I will say, to give them some credit here, often the clothes that I find on those racks kind of stand out, and maybe that's why my eyes are so drawn to them, because they tend to be made of natural fibers or something very close to natural fibers, and they actually feel slightly more quality, especially a lot of the Target stuff. But to be clear, it's all extremely fast fashion, right? It's made very inexpensively and they're making a whole lot of it. In fact, let's talk about Target and Walmart through the lens of the major issues with the fast fashion model. So the first one is the exploitation of humans, underpaying them. And I mean all the humans involved in making, shipping, and selling this product, right? So Walmart has been notorious for decades for really pushing on pricing before even all the fast fashion brands had gotten that good at it. And so they've been underpaying their factory workers, their store employees, everybody for decades now. And Target is not dissimilar. Now, both of these companies have really huge buying power because they're buying so many units. They can get better pricing, but to be clear, they are suppressing wages across the board in factories, in their warehouses, and in their stores, and able to remain highly profitable while selling clothing at such a low price. Next, let's think about the sheer volume of clothing that these two companies are selling every year, not including the stuff that they're making and not selling. We're looking at more than 2 billion garments being sold by these companies, not including what they didn't sell. And that is a great drain on resources. It is a lot more synthetics being spewed out into the world. We're talking a lot of energy, a high carbon footprint, water consumption, just tons of use of resources that don't need to happen, which brings me to issue 3 with these brands, which is the overconsumption of it all. And Target especially really leans into this, like, I'm bored and I'm going to impulsively buy myself something new to wear while I'm out running errands. But both of them are really leaning into people buying things that they don't necessarily need and more than they need while they're taking care of other boring things, sort of this like treat yourself mentality, by putting clothes in the front of the store, by, putting a lot of mannequins and signage there, by really bringing in a lot of trends and newness constantly. They are using that same overconsumption model and overconsumption selling tactics that SHEIN and every other fast fashion brand are using right now. Now, there are plenty of good reasons that you would be buying clothes at Target or Walmart. I am literally wearing a Target bra as I record this. There's cost, there's accessibility, there's size inclusivity, and you buying clothes there when you need it, that's not a problem. What is a problem is when you buy more than you need, or you buy things and you never wear them, or you're just over shopping, right? But when you buy these things, no matter where you buy them, make sure that you buy things that you want to wear for a long time, that you really like, you skip out the impulse shopping, and you take care of things and make them last as long as possible, no matter where they came from. The most sustainable, ethical decision you can make is buying things that last, wearing them a lot, and wearing them for a long time, no matter where you bought them.